I feel like I haven't anything left to prove to myself. Do I want to go back and gear up for another grind? Or is it time? Is it time to step away? Is it time for another voice to be leading this team? I think I need to get away and contemplate those things.
Decisions. What will Aaron Rodgers do? Welcome into the Fox 11 Sports Edge. I'm Nicole Menner. Retire, return, or will 12 be on a different team next season? For the third straight year, we are facing the same questions. And right now, the only answer is time. Aaron Rodgers needs it to take the emotions out of the 2022 season. Head coach Matt LaFleur and general manager Brian Gutekunst said they will give that to him. And both expressed their desire for him to return and believe their best chance to win is still with the four-time MVP. But of course, Rodgers' future has a domino effect on the rest of the team, including backup quarterback Jordan Love.
I definitely think he's ready to play. I think he feels that way. I think he's chomping at the bit. But at the same time, we're going to do what's best for the Green Bay Packers. You're talking about a four-time MVP, right? So we are very excited about Jordan and where he's at. There's no doubt about that. But Jordan's never played a 16, 17-game season, gone through all that stuff. So it's no different than we moved from, Brett to Aaron, right? So that's a hard thing to say. But at the same time, where Aaron's at, the level he's at, there's not many teams he wouldn't give the best chance to win.
Let's take a look at the off-season schedule and the dates that you should keep an eye on. The NFL Combine runs February 28th through March 6th in Indianapolis. The new NFL league year begins on March 15th, which means that is when free agency begins. Teams can begin off-season workouts on April 17th, and then the NFL draft 10 days following that from the 27th through the 29th. The Packers currently hold the 15th overall pick. The last two seasons, Aaron Rodgers did not show up for voluntary OTAs. If he does return, Gutekunst was asked if the quarterback needs to be here in the future to get as many reps as possible with the team.
We want all our players here in the offseason. I think, I think Matt and his staff, I think it's just when guys are together, first of all, I think there's more energy in the building, certainly when you're quarterback and your leaders in the building. So we want all our guys here. It's optional and voluntary, as you guys know. With the exception of the mandatory minicamp. So we invest a lot in these guys, and we would certainly like that investment back from all of our guys. I know a lot of the veteran players probably need less, of that. But sometimes our younger players need those guys here as well.
A lot to keep an eye on. And coming up, we'll be joined by Packers Hall of Famer Johnnie Gray. He'll tell us what he makes of the 2022 season and his thoughts on the quarterback. Plus, could the Vikings advance in the playoffs? Well, Packers fans, you might want to stay tuned in for these highlights. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Fox 11 Sports Edge. Joining us now, Packers Hall of Famer Johnnie Gray. We had to bring in the expert. A very disappointing end to the Packers season. We are now 1 week removed from it, so we have to ask you, what was the biggest disappointment this season?
Biggest disappointment was having this team play really undisciplined football. We saw in that 5-game stretch where we saw players just uncharacteristically playing out of position, out of character. Pretty much what we saw in that last game. They reverted back to that 5-game losing streak mentality or attitude, and it cost them.
Brian Gutekunst held his season-ending press conference on Friday. He said it falls on the players, falls on the coaches, really everything. But Matt LaFleur said he does not anticipate any changes or many changes coming to the coaching staff. Do you agree with that, or do you think they need a change there to succeed next season?
Nicole, I'm not so sure if they really need a change, but there has to be something that happens there, I guess, because it just seemed like there was a different philosophy that was going on at the start of the season, and it got to be the losing streak. And then all of a sudden they came back, and all of a sudden, boom, they're playing that football we saw in training camp, defense flying around, making plays, causing turnovers, turning the game around, and then all of a sudden, boom. So I'm not sure if it's the leadership or the way they're running it. There might be a change. It doesn't have to be, but I think that there's going to be a little change of philosophy.
Well, as we know, no roster looks the same going from season to season. Before we get to the topic everyone's talking about, let's talk about the free agents, because the Packers have a pretty hefty list. We'll throw it up right here. 14 unrestricted free agents, and Johnnie, some notable names on this list. So if you had to pick a few, who should they make a priority to bring back?
I really like the play of Jaron Reed. I think Dean Lowry. I like Rudy Ford. I'll be picking all the defensive players. Okay, let's go to the offensive side. Alan Lazard, Robert Tunyons, coming off that knee injury a year ago. So I like that. I like Mason Crosby. I mean, you can count on him. A lot of these guys, I'm sure, will take that hometown discount, and they want to be back.
Johnny, as I mentioned, all eyes are on Aaron Rodgers right now. I mean, what else is new? It's never dull here in Green Bay in the offseason. So let's talk about it. In your opinion, if you had to say right now, will 12 be back on this team next season?
I'm going to say yes. I just think he'll come back because he wants to, you know, as an athlete, you want to be able to go out on a high note. And the last 3 games here in Lambeau in January, or last 3 seasons, I should say, they have not been very good. And seemed like I know Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that competitive spirit, I think he's back.
Okay, you say you think he will be back. Should he be back, or is it time for the Packers to move on?
Only if they change the philosophy on the offensive side. If they really think they need more of a mobile quarterback that can run. If that offense is designed where you're going to get out and spread, you know, like Philadelphia. We saw with Josh Allen. You saw these other young quarterbacks out in Chicago. But you're putting them out there to be hit. So if they like the philosophy of just sitting back there, I got all these targets out there to hit. I got a solid running back. I just need to work on my offensive line. Yeah, go with that and stay with it.
A lot of decisions. We will be sitting here anxiously waiting to see what happens. But Johnny, as always, thank you for your wonderful insight all season long. We always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now it's time
been a pleasure
for you to go enjoy your off season.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let's whip around the NFL. Giants-Vikings facing off in the NFC wildcard round. Tie game first quarter, but Daniel Jones connecting with Isaiah Hodgins over the middle. 14-yard touchdown. They would add a field goal later, leading by 3 at halftime. Third quarter, Vikings down 10. Kirk Cousins, though, going to his tight end, Irv Smith, cuts the Giants' lead to 3. Okay, tie ball game, 24 in the fourth quarter. Saquon Barkley, we've seen this before, powers through across the goal line from 2 yards out for the score. So last chance for Minnesota. They need one to tie it. 4th and 8, and Cousins connects with TJ Hawkinson, but he is tackled short of the first down line. The Vikings came into this one 11-0 in one-score games. Not anymore. First playoff win for the Giants since 2011, 31-24 the final. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles. Over to the AFC, 7th seed Miami on the road, taking on the Bills in Buffalo. In Buffalo, up 17 to start. Dolphins, though, fighting back. They tie it right before halftime. Skylar Thompson finding Mike Gesicki for the touchdown. Tied up after the 2-point conversion. Buffalo trailing by 4 in the third, but score twice before the end of it. First, it's Josh Allen to Cole Beasley. And then you got this. Allen going 23 yards to Gabe Davis. Watch this. Keeps his feet inbounds. Watch the replay. Whew, what a catch. Bills lead by 10. Dolphins would score again, but Buffalo hanging on to win it 34-31. And the Cincinnati Bengals just beat the Ravens 24-17. So there's all your NFL scores for the day. Switching over to the college football landscape now, new Badgers head coach Luke Fickell has really changed the culture in recruiting early on, but one player he could not convince to come back, linebacker Nick Herbig. He'll test the NFL draft waters, and our Cody Krupp caught up with the sack artist. We'll have that conversation next on The Edge. Former Badger Nick Herbig led the Big Ten in sacks and was awarded first-team All-Big Ten and second-team All-American honors this season. In December, Herbig declared for the NFL draft. Our Cody Krupp caught up with him as they chat about the decision and how he nearly stayed one more year in Madison. Looking forward to seeing where Herbig ends up in April. We will wrap up the Fox 11 Sports Edge when we return. 25th ranked Marquette taking on 12th ranked Xavier. Could the Golden Eagles win their 6th straight? Find out next. Top 25 matchup in the Big East. 25th ranked Marquette on the road at number 12 Xavier. First half, Golden Eagles take the lead thanks to Tyler Kolek driving to the hoop. 2 of his game-high 25 points. Second half now, Oso Ighodaro goes to work down low, spins off the defender and splashes in the hook shot. Tied at 72, but Xavier would respond on the other end, and they would go on to win this one. Final score 80-76. We will find out tomorrow if Marquette is still ranked, and of course the Wisconsin Badgers, who have now dropped 3 straight. We'll see you then.